I pressed it.
You're on.
Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, my wonderful listeners this evening, villagers. Welcome. We are waiting for our fearless leader to show up. I know he'll be on shortly, and my other colleague will be on shortly as well. Hoping that you had a wonderful week thus far. Thank God we have no snow on our end, but thank you for joining us and excited to have you all on this evening. Lots to talk about, and hopefully we'll have Andrea and Sophia and John and Roderick on shortly. Look at that. Perfect timing. Hello.
Dr.
Good,
Brian. Hello.
good evening, Mr. Sampson. How are you?
I am blessed, highly favored. And where is our illustrious leader, Mr. Daly, at?
He should be on shortly. He should be on shortly.
Oh, shit. Let's try to do the show before it comes on. Let's go. Well,
Oh,
at least we get to talk.
hey.
Ah, shit. Yeah, boy.
John.
Good evening, Janice, Gary, and our village listeners. Thank you for joining us this evening.
I hope
Hey,
you
Mr.
had,
Daly, how
I
are
hope
you?
you had 10 minutes of fun without me.
Oh.
Man, I just got on. I didn't even get a chance to get a minute in, man.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
I do hate when we're not in the studio because
You didn't charge your light, did you?
I have the light on. See, it's right here. I just probably not using it properly.
You should put it right on top of your screen, on top, on the light. Now, and bring your
Listen,
screen back up. Bring your screen back up because you cut off your face.
I'm fixing it. I'm fixing all of that. Just doing. I hate not being in the studio. I so hate it. It's not even funny.
Me
Because
too, because I can't just annoy you while.
well, that was not my reasoning, but that one works too. Oh shoot, I'm looking for something that's right in front of me. Don't you hate when that happens?
Yeah, that you have the light in your hand. And
And I have the light in my hand. I'm looking for the charger to charge the light. 'Cause the light is dead.
oh, okay.
The other light, it's dead.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to charge it, and then I have the thing in my hand.
There you go. Oh, we can see you now. Now move
You
the
trying to call me
cord.
black?
Move your cord. No. Cord
You
on
trying to call me black?
the computer.
And
No,
it's not
turn that
cord.
off. Turn that off. Turn that off. Okay. You see the cord that's right.
Ladies and gentlemen of the village, we're
Thank you.
experiencing technical difficulties, so please bear with us.
And now bring down your screen so we can see your face.
Oh boy, this one here is not going to work too hot because it's a turkey.
Yeah, we
Our
are
leader, Mr. Daly, is here.
adjusting. Hello,
Adjusting.
good evening, Empress. How
I
are
mean,
you? this evening?
Empress Danielle, you just cussed me out, by the way.
And can you please bring up your screen so we
John.
can see your face?
What's up?
Empress Danielle just cussed me out.
Good.
Right? Hold on. This is actually beautiful. This lighting piece. So let me see if I can get it to work properly.
So, Dr. Brian, what's going on otherwise, Dr. Brian? What's happening?
Listen, there's a lot going on. Our wonderful leader Pelosi stepped down.
She didn't step
Yeah,
down.
just
So
want to thank Miss Pelosi for her years of service.
I'm not thanking her
And
for nothing.
I
ignore
want to thank her for her
Roger.
years of service.
I'm not thanking her for nothing.
But
She
no,
didn't step-
hold on. If it was, I want to be clear. If it wasn't for
Mhm.
the New York State Senate Democrats being
Yep.
overzealous in redistricting
She might still be the
New
leader.
York, Nancy Pelosi would still be the speaker.
Yep.
New York State dropped the ball.
Mm.
You know, everybody's blaming it on Jake Jacobs or whatever. No, it goes directly to the New York State Senate Democrats who were responsible for putting the districts together. They went overboard. They overreached. When I was in the Senate, the Republicans would always go to the line, but they would never go over the line. They just went right there to the line, knowing that it would pass muster. But the Senate Democrats, what happens? Chose to be greedy,
So
went over the line, had a special master come in and draw those lines. And as a result of that, we don't have the speaker, because we should have the speaker. This would be historic. The reason why, because every midterm election, the president's the president who is in power, his Congress usually loses seats or whatever. They usually lose the majority, and the other side gains the majority. But this would have been one of the first times that you kept not only the Senate but also the House. Everybody predicted it was supposed to be a red wave. It wasn't even red. It wasn't even a red trickle. But
it's stand corrected. It was a red wave. It was, because it took over the House. I don't care what anybody tells me. If you take over the House, right, that you did not have, it is a wave.
It's no. Everybody, it was supposed to be a red. No, that's not a wave, because their majority, they have a slim majority, so they really can't lose too many individuals. And you got a lot of moderate Republicans, but this is the best for the Senate. This is the best for the House, for the Democrats, because it gives them an opportunity to put those Republicans.
John, you're a politician, but I hate to disagree with you.
Well, you don't have to disagree, because
I'm gonna tell you why I disagree.
Because you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna tell you exactly why I disagree with you. You can look at it. You can tell me I don't know what I want to talk about as what. In any significant race,
right,
or voting task in the House or in the Senate,
right,
or the presidency,
right,
out of 100 votes, John,
Mr. Daly,
say it's 90, 95, 80, 55, 50% of the time that they don't vote on party line. Which number would you choose, John?
Voting on party line?
Yes, John.
It depends upon what type of legislation
I didn't ask you
you're
that.
talking about.
I know it depends. I said, given a percentage, John, right? Given a percentage, John, what percentage would you say that an elected official does not vote on party line? You can't get your tongue?
No, Ken ain't got my tongue. I would
So
say
the point that
about.
I'm making is,
I
whether
would
they're
say
moderate
about. Did
Republican,
I finish? You asked the
moderate
question. Let me answer
Democrat.
it.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Let me answer the
Doesn't
question.
matter what level of the far right, far left. The only difference is if you're far one way versus far the other way is what the agenda that you're pushing. But your vote, look at poor Ketanji Brown Jackson. What, two of them broke party line out of 48, out of 50? Broke party line to vote, or was it was two? Two broke party line. What's the name? The guy from Utah and the woman from Maine. I think might have been one more. Susan Collins.
No, Susan Collins, Michelle Murkowski from Alaska, and he ran for president against Obama.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The guy from Utah.
Mitt Romney.
So out of 50 Republicans, look at what the hell Lindsey Graham got up and said. Look at the crap he said. And guess what? He voted along party lines.
Okay.
So the point that I'm making is, even though you might have moderate Republican, moderate Democrat, even a damn Democrat Manchin, who's supposed to be in a Republican state, normally caucus. He caucuses the Democrats and vote, but he's one that breaks party line. Mitt Romney breaks party line on the Republican side. And even those two.
Right.
90,
so what's your point? So what's the point, Roger?
The point is, it's not a win. It is a win for the Republicans.
Of course, right, Roger. One vote, if one vote is a win. They have the votes, they have 218, they're in the majority, they control the agenda. However, the agenda that they control cannot be as controversial as they want it to be, because there may be those Republicans who cannot vote with it because it has an impact on their district, because some of these Republicans still have a majority, not a majority, but have a substantial amount of Democrats, which they're in their district, which they're concerned about, or even more so independents. So it depends upon the issue.
I wouldn't say that they cannot vote. I would say they
they can. They put it this way. They can vote, but they will make it different. They can vote, but the question is, McCarthy will not put it on the floor.
Right.
They can prevent certain things from going to the floor.
Right. That I agree with. That part I agree with, that they will not have the ability to bring a lot of right-wing stuff, far right-wing stuff to the floor, because it won't get there. Not that they won't have the votes, because once it gets to the floor, they will get the vote. But
what they do have, being that they control these committees, they have the power of, they got oversight, subpoena power, they got the purse strings they're in charge of. So it could be a long 2 years.
And they have what gets to the floor.
Yeah, that's true. And what pissed me off, the first thing they do, you get power, but their agenda is go after Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
What happened in Afghanistan. This is basically this Congress that's coming in. It's going to be drama filled with nothing but retaliation, sheer retaliation. John, but that's good.
You're making my point.
That's good.
You're making my point.
So what's the point then?
I'm saying you're making my point.
What's that?
They're able. That's why it's a red wave.
Because Roger, no. I wouldn't agree. I wouldn't agree with that.
Because now they can push certain BS agenda, right? And one thing I want to say, I every so often, villagers, I make this statement. I'm gonna make it right now. I'm making another controversial statement.
Oh shit!
I am sick and tired of being a Democrat. And I'm sick and tired of being a Democrat, and I will always tell people to vote Democrat, but you do not hold your party accountable, because you are equally oscillating on the views and on the partnership, on the leadership, and you're cutthroat. Right? And that to me is a problem.
Well, Democrats have no loyalty.
That's the problem.
They have no loyalty.
They don't even have loyalty to themselves.
They have no loyalty.
None.
Once there's a small bit of controversy, the first thing they always say is, "Oh, resign." As the Republicans,
Our foes.
the Republicans will always wait.
Look at the fact. The police officers who support Donald Trump, right, will not vote against Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, through the insurrection, caused many deaths of police officers. And yet still, the Republican police officers are not standing against him. They're still going around saying that the election was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And the Republicans are saying that.
Not
What
many
are the
people.
Democrats saying?
Only the damn kooks are saying that.
No, that's not true. Nicole Malliotakis in Staten Island ran the same ad in this election. Not all, but some that I saw. The same exact ones against Rose that she ran in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about defunding the police, which wasn't even the topic right now for Max Rose. But she ran that ad.
She did.
Right? She sure did.
And over again.
Right? Not that the Donald Trump put the lives of police officers in jeopardy when he, at law enforcement, when he talked about people on Capitol Hill.
Well, Roger, we know that.
All the Democrats
No.
are saying,
The one thing I can say about Republicans, they are hypocrites.
I don't care.
They're hypocrites.
But I don't care.
And they will say and they will do. And see, Republicans understand. They will say and do anything to keep power or amass power. They'll do anything.
I'm in a group, right, John? I'm in a group.
Right.
For one of our elected officials. Actually, I could call the name. I'm in a group for Eric Adams, right?
Right.
And somebody was upset in the group about the post by Ron DeSantis, the commercial that said, "On the 8th day, God created a leader." The person wrote that she was Catholic and she was offended by the statement. And I asked why. The person never answered because I guess they felt like I was being insulting.
Right.
I said, why? Why are you insulted? The fact of the matter is, the right-wing Christian base believe in pro-choice, pro-life.
Right. Right.
They believe that they don't want to say it outright, and they might not agree with it outright, right? But they believe that the crime happened in the major cities, and you need to keep the people out of the major cities. Who are primarily in the major cities? Black and brown people.
Yeah, of course.
Right? They don't say it outright, but they're telling you keep them out.
Right.
Right? Only let in a few. Now, we might not want to admit that, but on average, when you go to a white neighborhood, it's primarily white. The white neighborhood is primarily Republican. It's not a lie. We might not want to look at the data. So I said to the person in the group that the Republican Party drove in to drive their base out to vote. So we, as Democrats, have to do what we need to do to drive out our base. Okay? Okay? We don't want to talk about gentrification. Why not? Because it's the young white, and other major dominant groups that come into black neighborhoods. We don't want to talk about that, but it's a real issue, right? Why are we committing crimes? We don't want to tell blacks on black to stop killing each other because we lose votes, right? Why? Because the majority of black people are Democrats. We know that. So why would you speak about the illness of your base? Why would you talk about, hey, let's work together. We're going to stem crime. We're going to find things for people to do to stop. I am going to invest in, like somebody brought up, invest in infrastructure. We're going to provide jobs. We're going to take people off the street. We're going to stop the violence. Why? Because we're going to do things that are going to build our base. We all want safety.
Mhm.
We all want jobs. We all want education. Why not build the commercial around what we stand for? I said in the group, and John, I said blue represent the blue skies. The sea, it represents calmness and beauty. Red, fire, blood, violence. Or don't, somebody looked at me and said, don't talk about that. What do you want to talk about violence like that for? That's what it represents. Or you might not need to say that, but talk about the calmness of blue. The blue wave. Why is it so important? They talked about the red wave. So just some of the thoughts. And the person never answered up till this moment because I think they think I was a little too radical. But that's the point. Send the message. The message is the message. They send theirs, we send ours. Don't be upset that he attacked his base. Be upset that we don't attack our base. Meaning in a positive way.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man.
You don't understand what I'm saying? I'm saying, John, talk about the things that we stand for. If we're for pro-choice, make the commercial about, like I said, for example, what are some reasons why you would support abortion?
Oh my God. You know, I am so sick and tired of that. Is all the Democrat focused on.
But Dr. Bryant,
that's an important issue.
But Dr. Bryant, that issue, that abortion issue, it's not solely the abortion issue. It's the rights. One thing you have to understand, but I think that but the message was that, and also when he talked about democracy, because you crafted it for some people it was not so much the abortion issue. It was the point of you were given a right. The Supreme Court gave you a right. A right that was almost 50 years. All of a sudden, because of politics, because of someone's own ideology, they picked the person who had an opposite ideology. As a result, you no longer have Roe versus Wade. What they're saying is, I gave you a right and now I take the right. That's one. So they can take other rights away from you. And this is what the younger generation was talking about, is we're just evolving. Generation Z, we're just evolving, and they're just taking. If we don't get involved politically at this point in time, what else they're going to take from? Look at the whole Supreme Court issue about affirmative action now.
Yeah. So
one thing as an elected official you learn: don't give something to someone and take it back.
So, John, I agree with you. The thing that I would say in my campaign I wouldn't just leave it at a woman's right to choose. I would scare the Republicans. I would talk about the data about unwanted pregnancies that have led to crime. Democrats don't want to talk about that, right? Because unwanted pregnancies that have gone to social services. The fact that we have to pay welfare for people who don't want to have the kids, and all of a sudden the kids become a burden on society. They don't want to make the sound that a kid can become a burden on society to take care of. Well, let the Republicans know that they have to pay for those children.
But they won't pay for the children because they're busy cutting all the social service assistance.
But they still got to pay with the taxes.
But then they put it this way: they make it so difficult to get those resources. The whole point is
they're making it difficult for you to have an abortion if you choose. So you hit them. What do everybody understand? No matter what race you are, green.
Yeah.
They all understand green. They all understand public safety.
All right.
So why can't you talk about those issues that they're afraid of? You don't want to hurt somebody feeling to say that unwanted pregnancies they have a higher propensity to cause negative activities in our society. What's wrong with saying that? It's the truth. Unwanted pregnancy lead to a lot more social assistance and the need for child welfare services because some parents are not good enough, fit enough to be parents, and they didn't want to, but you forced them to be. They knew they weren't fit, but you said they had to become a parent. Because you're pro-life. Taught the truth. Don't sugarcoat it and say a woman should be able to do what she wants to do with her body. That's one reason. That is one. A very important reason, but that's only one reason. There are many others. Utilize those others to scare those damn Republicans in the suburbs. Right? You touch on the issues. Number one, a woman's right to choose. Very important. And we will not stand to take away that right.
Right.
Right? Don't leave it out. That's pretty much what my point is with that. That's what I was saying when you say send the message that really exists. Send a real message. Ron DeSantis is saying, I am your savior. Right? I will follow the Bible. God created me to follow the Bible. Whether you're offended or not, if you're in Bible Belt and you're Christ believer and you're a profound Christian, evangelical, you're going to live that message up. I got to vote for him because Christ sent him.
And they're the same ones who support Donald Trump and all his
There you go.
Because they understand what the importance of power is. They understand the importance of electing someone like him so he can make the changes to the Supreme Court, a la Roe versus Wade.
There you go. A la the one you just spoke about, John. Affirmative action. Right?
That's the next thing. That's the next thing to go.
On the cutting block.
Right.
And that piece of shit, Clarence Thomas.
John.
Oh, I apologize. Excuse me. Excuse me. I apologize.
Gloria, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Although Deirdre, please excuse John because he wrote you because of what you just wrote there. That John is tired. He'd be all right. Right. And thank you, JR Bikinis. Thank you for tuning in our conversation. Appreciate it so much. And greetings, Ija, again. Yeah, John.
Yeah. So, greetings to all our listeners out there. But getting back to my man is running for president. Donald J. Trump.
I thought they impeached him. What happened?
They did impeach him. But
he was not convicted. He was not
convicted.
Right. He was not in. Was he? What is the term? He was indicted but not convicted.
That's it.
Right. And that's why he could run. Had they made it stick,
they wouldn't do it.
But Jay,
it's a waste of time. I feel like it's a waste of time.
But you see the trial going on in Manhattan, where his financial person says basically Trump knew that we were circumventing the tax code by giving these gifts and reducing my salary based upon these items.
Yes, he ratted them out. That Trump and his two boys.
Who ratted them out?
The accountant, Alex.
Oh yeah,
no, he cooperated with the government. That's what he did. He's not a rat.
Did what?
He's a cooperator.
And did what? What did he cooperate?
A acronym for cooperator is RAT. R-A-T.
I got it. Right. I got the right. That's your favorite description of anybody.
He actually stated that they.
It's kind of funny, Dr. Brian. It's kind of funny that somebody who practiced law, who called witnesses to the stand, right, like to call people rats. I wonder, how did he get his clients off?
Who are you talking about?
I wonder how he got his clients, because I know for a fact he worked on one case that we mutually discussed that got the person off for murder, right? Got the person off for murder, right? Because of rats.
Because of rats, huh?
Right? He got them off for murder. Should I also tell you that one of his high-profile clients, he also got her off, which you shall not mention any names.
I'm surprised.
He got the client off, doing a whole bunch of stuff. You know why he got her off, John? Man. You know why you got her off? You know why you got her off, John? Because you had rats.
Well, that's a good lawyer who knows how to get rats out.
Okay,
I know how to exterminate rats.
Right? So you got the rats out there. We can't even talk about the person, but I haven't heard anything from her recently, John, since we were hanging out back in the days. I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't heard anything from her. You know who I'm talking about?
I know
No.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I haven't
No,
seen her in a minute.
and guess what? Let's move on.
All right.
What, move on to what?
Well, we move on.
we
Donald
can't be
Trump. I
talking
told you,
client.
Donald Trump running for president.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about that yet. I want to say, what about the news about our local senator and local former assemblywoman getting engaged in Somos?
What the hell? Well, is that newsworthy?
I don't know. People love to know. I want to say congratulations to my friend.
Congratulations.
Yes,
I want to say congratulations. I think that's big
To,
news.
to Senator Myrie and former Deputy Borough President Miss Richardson.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
congratulations to them. That's news for me. I think a lot of people. Congratulations to both of them on the pending nuptials. Please make sure, Diana, make sure that my invitation is in the mail. I'm putting it out there on air. Just put it out there so that I'll get my invitation in the mail. And please allow me to take pictures. So congratulations to her. I just want to say that. And also, happy belated birthday to Auntie Maureen. She texted me last week and I totally forgot that it was her birthday on Friday. She's one of our avid listeners. So I want to make sure that I say Maureen Campbell, happy birthday. And happy birthday, Natalie Lowe. And today's my cousin Paula's birthday. Moving on. Donald Trump running for president. And my Uncle Trevor. My Uncle Trevor's birthday was Tuesday.
Just say happy birthday to everybody.
No, I'm not doing that because it's not everyone's birthday.
So get moving on to Donald Trump. He's running for president for the third time. And you know what's interesting about it is that
correction.
Okay.
Third time in the last 3 elections. He has run for president numerous times. People they forgot about that. He was very unsuccessful.
Well, he was successful one time.
Yes.
So that's what we have to look forward to. I know CNN is happy.
Yeah, because their ratings going to go up, right?
Their ratings are going to go up now because CNN's ratings are horrible, boy. Ooh.
Yeah. It's pretty shoddy. The election, people tune into CNN and Fox News a lot during the election, right? During the election time, because they're known for continuing the conversation around the election and keeping the ticker up like they did during COVID. So those times they made a lot of money during COVID and election. So what do you think, John? You think that the attack on John DeSantis made sense, right?
You mean DeSanctimonious? Ron DeSanctimonious.
Well, here's the thing. With him running for president right now, some of the other cases are put at a standstill besides the criminal one?
No.
Okay.
Cases still move forward.
Okay.
Right. And remember, it's 2 years away. So if he's indicted and convicted, he can't run. Indicted and convicted. It has to be both.
I don't think they're gonna do anything. To be honest with you, I think it's a waste of money and time because people are weak in just trying to go all the way in convicting this man. Just a waste of time. Just like the January 6th. Where does that take us? Nowhere. Wasted all this money, this time, and then guess what? They lose power. They're gonna shift the focus. A waste of time. And
I don't know. We got some of the people got locked up who were involved in that insurrection. So I don't know if it was a waste of time.
Well, I think when I'm gonna agree with Dr. Bryant, John, when we talk about waste of time, because the fat cat you want to get, you're not getting. All the, what do you call them, henchmen, all the foot soldiers, but
right.
you're not getting the generals and the commander in chief. So yeah, and all the people that the foot soldiers are so tight that the foot soldiers so tight that you can't even get any higher ranking. You can't get the son, you can't get the father, you can't get the vice president, you can't get anybody who's responsible for any of those things.
Interesting.
It's
You
true.
know, so and in essence, Democrats are tired of hearing about it. So it also cost some of the Democrats their seat in office.
Yes.
Well, you know, I find things to be funny. Like we talk about inflation on the show, which is at its all-time high, and when Democrats are not even talking about around the world, in some of the most like inflation around the world, it's its highest under any political party. And the reason why you have the inflation being so high is one of Trump's supporters and one of the supporters of Trump, which is Vladimir Putin, and the war in the Ukraine. That is affecting inflation, right? We just got out of a global pandemic.
Right.
Hungary, right, which is, I believe, one of the most conservative countries in the world, and a strong who Trump modeled his government, part of his government after, has the highest interest rate, inflation rate in the world. And this is somebody who's even more conservative than Trump. And Trump modeled some of the things that he does or did after him and say. Then why aren't Democrats talking about that?
Because they're too busy focusing on abortion. That's it. Abortion.
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about, John, when I say talk about the message.
They stick on one thing and that's it.
Yeah, right.
One thing and that's it. They don't focus on more.
Those are real issues, right? I don't know if you heard what I said, John, because I know you got the issue with the phone just now that said that Trump modeled a lot of his theories in governance after Hungary, right? Who has an ultra-conservative leader. And they have one of, I believe, if not the highest, I know factually is one of the top 3 highest inflation rate around the globe. And he modeled himself after, but we as Democrats are not making that message about your friend Vladimir. The inflation in Russia is ridiculous. Not to mention, not only that, but the war that they have caused have led to a high inflation rate. But the Democrats are not getting the messages out to the world.
Okay.
So get the message out. And if people don't want to hear about look, they get back into office and the first thing they talk about is get rid of Hunter Biden. Go back to Hunter Biden.
Yep.
Right. So the messages are interesting. I want to send out my condolences to those 3 boys' family.
Oh man,
that was very sad.
Horrible.
It's happening. Not only the 3 boys, there's another set of young folks that got murdered. 4 set of young folks that got murdered as well, and they were college students. So there's something going on.
Murdered where?
And I don't want to say it's Arizona, but it might be Arizona.
Okay, different. I saw about 5 people get killed.
Yeah.
You mean Idaho?
Idaho. See, I'm thinking Arizona. I'm thinking of sunshine. Sunshine.
Not to use it as a political statement, right? Because we're talking about politics. But I am using it as a political statement in saying that people fail to recognize that violence is everywhere. It's not blue. It's not red. It's America.
Yes, it is.
Right? And so to these families that we're talking about, last week we spoke about the young man, the 18-year-old man that was killed coming out of school here in New York City, in Queens. We spoke about that. Or we spoke about the 12-year-old who stabbed and killed the junior high school boy that stabbed and killed the young lady at 12, right? The
Right.
idea of violence. It's happening everywhere in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democratic thing. It's not an independent,
Yeah.
libertarian, and so forth and so forth. It's
Right.
a people thing. And we have to address violence. We have to address the root cause of violence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to my commercial. Many of these people committing the violence were unwanted pregnancies,
Right.
right? And
Okay.
we don't want that. And so, unfortunately, some of these parents tell their kids that they were unwanted.
True.
Expressions like, I should have aborted you when you were born.
That
I've
is so
heard that.
hurtful. That is so mean and
Even if that was your intention, that's not something you say to a child or to a
Not at
person,
all. Not at all.
right?
Right.
Because if you chose that you want to abort the child or not, all right, if you chose to do it, the fact is you chose not to do it,
Right.
and therefore you chose to take on the responsibility of bringing the child into this world.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the fact that what you should have done, that doesn't matter anymore. Is what you did that matters. But
Yeah.
parents say that. And some people just don't have the mental capacity to handle that. And so they go outside and commit these crimes. So, ladies and gentlemen, the crime has a lot more to do with mental health issues than it does have to do with your political party. I hate to tell you that. So unless you start addressing mental issues in whites, black, Chinese, Asians, straight, gay, tall, short, fat, skinny, rich, poor, hopefully, man, woman, boy, girl, in between, you're not going to fix the problem.
True.
If I let your group out, put it in there.
I have a quick question. I gotta go back to Donald Trump. Do you think the people that supported him prior, his, right hand, former Jersey governor, all the wonderful friends that he had before,
Chris Christie kind of stepped away already.
huh?
Chris Christie stepped away a little bit. I don't know if he'll come back. Ted
Giuliani and all that. Do you think they'll be
Giuliani,
back?
yes. Ted Cruz, yes, because Ted Cruz is still smelling his fart. I said Ted Cruz is still swallowing his fart, not smelling it. We all smell it. Right? And Giuliani, yes.
Well, I thought it was interesting that Pence said that there will be better opponents in his interview.
Oh, I wanted to see that last night. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, there'll be better candidates or whatever. That sounds like, whoo.
They'll be better.
Uh-huh.
I explain it to us in the context in which you used it. What was the question? Do you remember?
I don't remember the question, but it was
it didn't come up on my news feed that he dissed him.
Yeah, it came up because they asked him if he's running. He said he's prayerfully with his family considering it, and they asked him would he vote for him. He said, "Well, there'll be other candidates. There'll be other candidates. And still, sad about the whole January 6th, and that's to be expected."
You're right.
Showed him a different side of him. Here it is. He's rooting for his. That's supposed to be his right man, his right hand man, and he allowed people to say hang him. So that's very hurtful. So do you think he's voting for Trump? I don't think so. I think he's gonna vote for himself. I think he
Make America great again too.
I think he's gonna put his hat in the race. I do.
Who's that?
Pence.
Okay.
I think he's gonna put his hat in the ring. And I
The
think
more-
DeSantis is gonna put his hat in the ring too. I do.
Who?
DeSantis.
Yeah, he is. He's
And
listen.
a lot of his crew, a lot of the Republicans are split right now.
Yep.
Half going for Trump and half want DeSantis.
So the one thing I've learned, and John, when I was very hot about it, you and I kind of like a little bit disdained by politics. Like we're not really, we love politics. It's part of our, as part of our vein. But to say to run for office or those kind of things, we're not really too keen on that, right? We love to be on the other side talking about it or whatever.
I don't know, Roger. I think if you had the opportunity, you would have ran for something,
No,
right?
but this is what I'm explaining, right?
Mm-mm.
Going back to DeSantis. 10 years ago, right, I would have ran for the office hands down. 2012, an office came up, I'm going to go for it.
Right.
Because at that point, it was the height of what I was doing in politics.
Okay.
You have a short window to build on something. If you don't build on that something during that short window,
Correct.
the likelihood of that window reopening is slim to none.
Correct. Yes.
Ron DeSantis is on that open window. So it's whoever is advising him would tell him to go to that window, step out on the ledge, and see how far that fresh air will take you. Because he is at the height of it. He beat the crap out of Charlie Crist. His God made him on the 8th day commercial is viral. The right-wing Republicans are eating him up alive, and Trump is in trouble. Not that he doesn't have a base, he's in trouble. So it's the best. Why you think Trump announced in 2022 that he's running for 2024, and you don't think he's scared?
Well, he wanted to announce the day his daughter was getting married.
Sure did.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, she got married to an African, white.
Who?
Tiffany Trump.
John.
I'm serious. I gotta send you the video.
Okay. John.
You.
Somebody text me offline, and I'm gonna read it out loud. This guy getting married to Richardson is crazy or don't know her history. Sad. That's not nice.
If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
That's not nice. Richardson is a very nice, beautiful.
Can you please?
So I'm just gonna say it out loud that I disagree with you. Yes, we all have tempers. You're crazy too. I'm crazy. I got married and I'm with my wife for 15 years, and she thinks I'm pretty crazy.
God bless.
Oh, you and you, God bless her. Why does everybody say that? Like I'm a piece of dog crap.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I never said that. You said that. I didn't say that. I said God bless.
No, but anyway, the point is we all have her history. And I personally think that she's a nice person. I don't live with her. I guess John, all of us on this air know her from the outside.
Correct.
So, and we know what, and usually what I find is that the media, myself included, like I just did, send the message of negativity because that's what people want. And I just did that. So I'm just equally as guilty as the remainder of the media. So, but what I know of her, yes, I know she does have a temper.
All right, we're moving right along.
But I do know that she's a good person, and she means very well for our community. Very well.
As Doc said, let's move it.
Yeah.
So for all the soccer heads out there, there's gonna be a stadium in Queens. So we will be official. We have hockey in New York. We have basketball.
And we have football.
Yeah. So
And the
now
Giants are 7-2.
who?
But now we need a cricket field.
The Giants.
Okay.
Did you just say who?
Okay. All right.
We need a cricket field now.
Yes, Star Girl, I'm with you. I want Liz Cheney to throw her hat in too. That's right.
For what?
For the votes.
President.
Liz Cheney, I will vote for her. Liz
For
Cheney
what?
for president. Let's
president.
do it.
You'd have to change party.
No, I don't have to change party. I don't have to do nothing.
Hello. Oh, that's something I wanted to bring up. Thank you for bringing that up.
I don't have to do nothing. I could switch.
Anybody, I
whatever.
won't bring this up. Anybody who's an independent is a coward, is a punk.
Please. Anyway, that's your
No,
personal
wait.
opinion.
No, I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me why.
An independent only votes in a general election because they don't have a primary. So they cannot get involved in the local most important election, which is the primary. That's why I say it's a punk. If you live in an area, whatever the strongest is, if you live in a red state, then be a Republican because that's who's going to win 90% of the time. If you live in New York City, outside of Staten Island, the only person that wins is a Democrat in New York City.
Mhm.
So if you're an independent, you will never be able to vote. You're rubber stamping an elected official.
In the primary, you won't be able to vote
Right,
unless you
in
have
the
an independent primary. Right.
So you're rubber stamping, right? You're rubber stamping an election that's already decided.
Mm.
Whoever wins the Democratic congressional seat in Brooklyn is going to be the congressperson.
All right.
Period.
So
That's my point. That's why I say punk. So if you want Liz Cheney to win, then
Right.
you need to become a Republican.
then so be it. So what?
You can always change your vote in the general, but don't say you want to be Liz Cheney to win and you can't vote for her because then you can't do nothing. You're just talking. Right, Star Girl? So I'm telling you to switch in the primary and become a Republican, Star Girl, Dr. Bryant.
So what?
So go work on Liz Cheney's campaign for president. Become the New York liaison to help to mobilize, galvanize people
That's
to
right.
vote for her.
That's
But
right.
don't say you want her to win and talk is cheap. You get my point, John? That's why I say it's a punk thing.
I definitely get your point.
Yes, Marina did say happy birthday, happy belated. Right? Right.
Oh my goodness.
I think Liz Cheney would make a good president because she's a moderate Republican.
I like the fact
And she
that
sees the issues, not the person. She sees the issues.
I like that. She's a fighter. Because half of the others, I don't know what to say.
Well, that's what John and I were saying earlier. They stick to their party or they don't. She is, right. I want to do what I think is right. It cost her seat though.
It's okay. She'll get a better seat.
It's not okay. It cost her seat. So that means that the people in her area don't want her to stand up for what's right. They want her to stand up for the party. And that's what John was saying about the Republicans. They don't care if you're doing what's right. They care if you do. They care what you do right by the party. Stand together. Right? It's like, what is that commercial? Somebody sent me something many years ago, John, that said there was a fight and he told, if you're my best friend, you don't ask me why we fighting, just grab your bat and let's go. Right? But if you're not a friend, if you keep asking me why, what happened, and try to calm me down. Right? And then when after you ask, get in trouble, then you go, why you didn't stop me? Because I'm your true friend. So they don't want to believe it at the time. Yeah, right. So that's that. Couple of other things that are happening. The death in the bombing on the border, right? The bombing on the border out there.
There's 2 people that died. That's it. 2
Yeah,
people. And
but
then here in New York,
no, go back to the
what about the New York?
no,
That's overseas.
no. I'm not talking about that yet. I'm talking about the impact that it might have, especially since they have the G20 summit that's happening near near the incident, and that how it might affect World War III. What do you think, John? That's going to happen?
World War III? No, not at all.
What do you think is going to be the outcome of this incident?
You mean the incident between involving North Korea?
No, the bombing
Ukraine and Russia.
and
Nothing.
Poland.
I don't think I don't think it's going to trigger World War III yet. I don't think so.
Now, I don't know what the final outcome. Yesterday was a very, 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 very busy day for me. I didn't get a chance to do a lot of research. What was the final outcome? I heard initially it was a Russian air missile. Then I heard it was a Ukrainian friendly fire mistake. What's the final thing?
Still up in the air.
It's still up in the air. Nobody's claiming.
Right. Ukraine is saying no, it's not them. Russia is saying no, it's not them. Actually, Biden said no, it can't be Russia. I was shocked that he said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did he say it can't be Russia?
He said no, it's not Russia. Because I think he knew it was Ukraine that did it.
So I think it's either one or the other.
Yeah, I was he was like, we have to investigate. I'm like, investigate what's happening here. Forget about what's happening over there.
You can't say that. I don't know why you guys always say that. The foreign policies of the world affect what's happening in the United States. The war in Ukraine is causing
our
gas prices in America to be affected, food prices to go up. The cost of living in America is at an all-time high because of what happened outside of the world. So you can't say forget about what's happening out there and focus on what's happening in here, because what's happening out there is causing things to happen in here. They share hand in hand. If the question becomes, how are you making what's affecting out there? What is the impact that it has in here?
All right.
So that's important.
Okay.
It's very important. It's very important.
I need the gas price to go down.
I do too.
And let's talk about the fact that capitalist America is capitalizing on this inflation. The rich in America has gotten richer.
Okay.
Right? So we need the war in Ukraine to stop. So the question is, should America get involved in the war? Because if America gets involved in the war, it can cause the war to stop.
No, I don't think we should get involved.
So you want to continue to pay high gas prices?
No, because the
you
thing
want to continue to pay high rent?
No. That means that
you can't even afford a house right now.
You have more debt on your hands. For what reason?
What the hell do you care?
I do care.
It's all about green.
No.
No? A man will kill you for $1. You're going to tell me no?
So the dollar is more important than somebody's life.
A man will kill you for $1.
That doesn't mean that
makes the dollar more important than your life.
Let's moving right along.
Yes,
we want to answer the question. Should America get, or what should America do? Right? If not go to war, what is the option that America should do to affect what's happened outside so that we in America are not living in a problematic state, watching the rich get richer, the poor gets poorer, right? While these things are happening in the world. What do you think America should do?
We could come back to that. Let's ponder on that a little bit more.
Okay, I get it. Move on. Whatever. Yeah. You guys don't. Yeah, you don't like to touch on hard topics. That's a hard topic because it's one
Okay.
hand wash the other. Most of us don't cry about the death; we
Okay.
cry about our
But I
family.
said let's come back to it. I didn't say let's push it to the
Okay.
side. I said let's
No,
come
that's
back to
you're
it.
pushing it to the side. I bet you $5 we don't come back to it. John, I bet you some jerk chicken, right? Some jerk chicken on my end
All right.
that we won't
Our
come back
guest
to.
is waiting to come on. So let's move right along.
Our guest is not waiting. I need to know messages that our guest is waiting. Andre,
Check,
pull up the commercial, please.
check, check the chat.
Andre, pull up the commercial. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for just letting you know that we're brought to you by the Single Parent University. Open admissions means year round. At any point, all you need to do is just call to get the information. The course curriculum, personal development, support seminar, financial management, nutrition and wellness, resume and cover letter, social support hub. They even offer career exploration, legal assistance, free childcare sessions, and transportation. Call 646-779-6767. Again, that's 646-779-6767 or text SBU to 71441. Again, Single Parent University. The other one, Andre? Andre, run the other one, please. High prices is supply chain. We'll come back to that. Andre, hello, Miss Nardi. You're muted. Hello, Dr. Nardia. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Sorry, slow moment.
Wait, Dr.
Welcome,
Guillaume.
welcome, doctor. Welcome, doctor. Welcome.
Right
Thank
before I
you.
even say anything at all, right? So I'm gonna tell you a little joke. So I'm reading your stuff, right? I'm reading the stuff, your name, because we're sending out the information to the audience to let them know that you'll be on. And I see Espelette.
You see what?
Her last name. So I go, and I'm reading the line. It says like Espelette, and it's talking about you, right? The line. And I go, I've never heard this word. I gotta go look it up. And then I looked up. It was just funny because then I realized it was your name, but I was reading it like a sentence in the word, and it didn't trigger because I'm looking for it's Dr. Nadia Guillaume, and I saw that, and I didn't see the SPS. So that was my little thing in there. And I said I had to tell you that I found a new word in the English dictionary that I didn't know. I said, what triplet is that? What kind of triplet is the SP triplet? So I just thought I'd share that with you. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right. And we have 2 doctors on the show. Actually, 3 doctors. I'm the only one that's not a doctor. So welcome to 3 doctors on the show. So God bless.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. John, are you okay?
I'm good. I'm listening to Roger.
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Guillaume Espelette. The Estriplet.
Estriplet.
Estriplet. Thank you. I was going to ask you, I do remind people that I always ask people to make sure that you pronounce your name so that I learn how to pronounce it. And it's not just Dr. E. I always like to say, make sure that I can pronounce it right. Other people need to learn how to pronounce it too.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Bryant, for having me. I was a little taken aback when I spoke with her. I was surprised, and I said anything for Joanne, anything. So my name is Nadia Guillaume Estriplet. It's actually all French. My husband is actually Haitian native. He's a native from Haiti, and of course he came here. That's how we met. but
Mhm.
that's a whole nother story. A little bit about me.
That's the good stuff. That's the good story. We want to hear that. We hear it later.
Later. A little bit about myself. I am currently a mom,
Congrats.
and thank you. I have 3 beautiful children. I am married to my wonderful husband. He's definitely the poster child of go-getter, and he gets. Uh, I'm also a pastor. I'm a youth pastor, and I recently started my entertainment label. I also publish books,
Wait, I'm
and
sorry. I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt you. Did you say your husband?
Oh Lord.
Did you say your husband is a go-getter? John, did you heard that right?
Yes, I
Mhm.
did.
So, and then I heard I'm a mom, I'm a youth pastor, I'm a author. I just opened my own studio. And then she said her husband is a go-getter. So the first thing I'm hearing about
Aw.
you,
Thank
so the first
you.
thing I'm hearing about you is that I like the humility. I like that. The first thing I'm hearing, I like that. Go ahead. Oh, my husband.
And
We are both
recently,
go-getters.
yes, we are.
Claim it. It's yours.
And I guess that's the most. I recently started, well, changed my career from healthcare. I decided to go into social services.
Mhm.
I am currently working for a homeless shelter here in New York. Uh, I work closely with clients who are either domestic violence clients, homeless, uh,
When you said domestic violence clients, do you mean domestic violence survivors?
survivors, yes.
Okay.
And some of them, unfortunately, are still in the relationship, even though they're in the shelter. And that's basically it about me. I'm very outgoing, I am a child at heart. I love my young people and young adults. I will wake up at 3 in the morning to go find a young adult, and that's my passion. That's my heart. My plan is to hopefully one day open up a youth center where our young people and young adults can come
Right.
in and just be,
Be themselves. Be themselves.
yes,
Be
just
themselves.
be. hmm And
Mhm.
that's it.
Now, in the shelter, you mentioned that you work with people with domestic who are dealing with domestic abuse or whatever. Do you work with young people there as well?
Yes, I do.
What's the age group?
The age group, I start. The youngest is 5 years old.
Hmm.
The oldest is about 24 years old.
And how is that working with some of the young folks in shelters? Because that's a conversation we haven't had so much on the show. What are some of, I don't know, break it down for us in regards
Okay.
to. Hmm.
Working at the shelter um, with our children. I'm going to start with the 5 year olds and then just work my way up. One thing I noticed, because they live in the shelter, all of the kids, all of the children from ages 5 to 18, they all have this look on their face, and it's a look like they're drawn. They're not present. All the children, all of them have that look. And what I do, I usually, when I see them in the hallway or in passing, I stop and I strike a conversation. And when I strike a conversation, I sometimes hear our young people, let's say a 13-year-old, would often share with me, I look forward to moving out of here. I look forward to going away to college. I look forward to starting my own business. And these are conversations that I'm having with the young person who's walking down the halls, probably making his or her way to the unit where they live. And I strike up a conversation, and this is what I'm getting that is buried inside of our young people. Now, our younger children, I find those that have experienced trauma, those that have witnessed mom being shot at or stabbed, because there are some women who, when they come to my office, you can actually see bullet wounds and stab wounds on their, you can actually see it. And these women, when they come in with their child, the mom is usually either really loud, very tough, very aggressive, and the child is very drawn. If you say hi, the child would say hello with his or her eyes. They sit to themselves. And I make it my business when I go to work and I walk into the facility, as soon as I touch that doorknob, I literally begin to just like speak to that atmosphere and just start to declare some things in this atmosphere. Because when you walk into some of these shelters, the atmosphere is so heavy. And I'm not trying to say, oh, you have to be a Christian or believe in God. It's just natural. You walk in there and you can just feel the weight of confusion. You can feel the depression. You can even feel thoughts of suicide in the atmosphere. Our children, I watch them closely because I've had some small minor incidents where I've had children act out what they see going on in the unit. If mom is fighting, if mom is cursing, they will come downstairs and reenact it. So working with the children in the shelter, young children, middle school, high school, even those preparing for college, I try to keep the conversation in the mind. Keep their mind stimulated, keep their mind going, because a child in the shelter can drift like that quick.
So, all of these things have led you to your move as from healthcare to social work, right? And it landed you here at migrant work, right? Tell us a little bit of what is that like? You talk about the youth in the shelters. Let's talk about the migrants. What is that like? With the influx over roughly the last year, but it has become more newsworthy, more news empathetic, or unempathetic, depending on which state you're coming from or where you're coming from in the situation. Tell us the move. Why?
Well, I will start off by saying, I'm sorry?
No, I'm saying tell us about it.
Okay. I will start off by saying, as far as the immigrants, the ones that I've seen, I've talked to, sat with, they are, I think if I were to say excited to be here, that is too small of a word to use.
Here as in New York or here as in the United States?
The United States. They are ecstatic. They are just, I've never seen immigrants like this. They are happy. They are well taken care of. Honestly, right now, they have been placed at priority. They are priority right now.
Well, you know what, Doc? It's not only being priority. I think it's they're given an opportunity to come here. There is we do have a serious crisis at the border. We need to do something about that. But both Democrats and Republicans always talk about immigration, but they never do anything about it. Immigration is one of the most controversial issues. They need to revamp the whole entire system, but they won't do it, and I wonder why they won't do it. And the money that we're expending is astronomical now. So, how can we then turn these people away? We have to accept them in our community and do the best we can with them.
But they have a specific group that they're accepting. I'm Haitian American. Haitians are not being accepted.
I understand.
There are people coming busloads from Venezuela, busloads from Colombia, The other day, Mexico, yes. And there are no Haitians. Haitians were at the border in Texas. Haitians are at the borders in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
They're at the borders, where U.S. embassies are. They're
Right.
they're at the gates. But when it comes to certain, I'm just gonna say it. When it comes to Haitian people, we're not received. But in the shelter, I see this. I see that they are they definitely take care of these asylums with high esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Donations are coming in, like, to the point where one of our community rooms, donation boxes are almost up to the roof. And I'm talking diapers, Victoria's Secrets, Calvin Klein undergarments, the works are being donated.
Right. And I think it's because the attention is paid so much to what's going on with the migrants and the border issue. And that is one of the reasons why so much attention is put, because you have other individuals from other countries who don't get this same treatment.
Thank you. My point exactly.
One of the pushback that I get, and I think when I brought in, I don't know if you're familiar with the name Pastor Monrose, right? He works for the mayor and the executive director for clergy at the mayor's office, and similar role at the bar president, then when he was bar president of Brooklyn. One of the questions, and I know people who are immigrants who have overstayed or might not have overstayed, but are here and are not receiving these kind of benefits, they get very jealous.
Yep.
And some of the people who are even here who are not immigrants get very jealous. They get a hotel room that costs $400 or $500 a night. They get 3 full meals a day. They get a stipend. They get all of these things to more than survive, while other people are getting the basics to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And you now who work in this atmosphere have to answer that question. What is your answer?
The answer is when you can get what is it, $4,000 per person, and it's a country that you either have a deal with or a treaty or an agreement with. Of course, you're going to treat their people like first class. Of course, you're going to give them all resources that they need. But when it's another class of people that come in, they're tossed to the side. They're given the scraps.
Right,
that still happens right before my eyes. That still happens.
Correct.
So when you have Venezuelans coming in, you have Colombians coming in, Ukrainians, Afghans coming in, and they're given beautiful shelter and beautiful this and beautiful that. But then let's say
people are being put in regular shelters.
It's basically
stolen.
Yep. And it's what you can bring to the table.
So
you have to offer.
So you're saying that other governments give the United States certain amount of monies to house these migrants?
It's actually the other way around. What you're going to do for the United States. Here's what we're going to do for you, but here's what we're going to do for the United States. So there's no money coming from the other country. It's basically you're telling someone, listen, I have this money. I need you to hold it for me. And the person who's holding it says to this person, okay, I'll hold it for you. But because you have a bakery, you're going to give me free bread for 1 year. And it's a situation like that because I see it live and direct.
Interesting. Very interesting. What is it like placing the migrants in schools?
We need a lot of translators. Majority of them go right into ESL classes,
English is a
classes
second
that
language.
classes where the teacher either is she only speaks Spanish and a little English, um,
Bilingual classes.
bilingual classes, and then um, we as the we as the social workers, what we
Is that the little one? Which one is that?
yeah, she's supposed to be in bed. I'm so sorry.
In bed. It's 8:30, 8:45.
No,
need to get-
I like them to go to bed at 7:30. Okay, you're fine. Go to bed.
What?
7:30.
Did you just say, man, can you come live at my house? Shoot. Try to get mine to bed at 9:30 is the problem. You say 7:30.
Yes, 7:30. Because I need time. I like to unwind and just have quietness.
Okay, I got you. I'm glad to hear that. 7:30. Like, the poor child is like, the sun is still out.
That's what they say. My second says that. She goes, "Mommy, the sun is still out."
For me, it's just what time they need to wake up in the morning. Then they get 10 hours sleep. That's the rule. You get 10 hours sleep. 9 to 10 hours of sleep. That's my rule.
Somebody popped up right next to you.
That's my rule. But it depends on obviously it depends on the age and all those things. But anyway, so you were talking about the education component.
Yes. And what happens is wherever the shelter is stationed, the kids would go to school within that community. They don't
Right.
send them out to other districts or anything like that. They keep them in that hub with the shelter.
Okay. I have a couple of principal friends who said that the influx of students, because they're concentrated normally in a neighborhood, right, in a school district, and that influx of students. Let me go back. I'm going to ask I like to ask controversial questions.
Me too. Yes.
And Dr. Bryant and John hate when I do this.
Oh, shucks.
So I want to find out something. In your experience, in the time that you've worked with immigrants, do you find that certain communities say, please bring the migrants, please bring them, but don't bring them here?
Oh wow.
Because
No,
they're concentrating. I am to clearly understand that they're concentrated in a certain amount of communities. That's my understanding. So if they're concentrating in a certain amount of communities, that means other communities are saying no.
Mm-hmm.
See, I use deductive reasoning. That was one of my big things in math. Was one of my strong subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So the conditional piece in math, if then. So I'm just asking, do you find that?
yes,
Okay.
I do.
Okay. I was
I
going to
do.
add to that. So the location in which the shelters are located
Right.
not going to be Midtown Manhattan. It's not
So-
going to be in the Wall Street area. It's going to be where? The Bronx, Brooklyn, certain parts of Queens, but not everywhere.
And the one thing that they say all the time is, I need to put them near where their families are. Like the family told them they wanted to be near them. You know, you're breaking up, Dr. S Triplet. You're frozen. Doc?
Okay.
Doc?
That's frozen.
Yeah, but sometimes you can hear.
Her eyes is moving.
So every so often she comes back in and goes back out. Doc, if you can hear us, log in and log back out. Doc?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I was saying to you, log in. And sometimes if you log in and log back out, it makes it easier. But we can hear you now. Go ahead and speak. Yep, frozen again. So it is true, right? Like people think that racism don't exist in New York.
No, it does. It
right? Racism don't happen. Yeah, I don't know what world you're living in, but in our world, racism happens a lot in New York, like any other where else in America. The only difference is in New York is subtle.
You think so?
In New York, it's subtle. Of course, it's subtle. It's not
If you
overt.
go to Staten Island, you think it's subtle?
Well,
You go to Long Island, you
Staten
think it's
Island is its own different borough. That's why they wanted to be their own borough.
well, you think in Long Island it's subtle?
Yes, they are. Is that my mama? Oh, no, that's wifey. Hi, wifey. Right? She never wants to be seen on the screen. So I was trying to get her to come on for a minute. I think she was going to come in, but I'm right by the door. So she opens the door. You'll see it. I don't know if you saw when she opened the door. But it's a real issue. I want to ask her about some people who she have interacted with. So when she comes back, we could ask her who are there some people she have interacted with.
Is she still there?
She's not back yet. Not on my screen. What were we talking about before she got on? Andre, can you run that commercial? Maybe you could run it by the time she gets back. Andre's not on. Andre's not on either. All right. What were we talking about before? We were talking about the effect of Ukraine. David Michael wrote that high prices isn't to be blamed for the Ukraine war. Or
prices.
That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that high prices are to be blamed for, or you say on. Actually, it is. It is because it affects the chain, and people in wartime, people are scared. What they do when they're scared, they don't sell, they hoard stuff, and they hide things. When you do those things, money does not flow easily. So therefore, it causes inflation. You have anything to add to that, John?
No, I would agree. I would totally agree for once with you, Roger.
All right. He also wrote, "It's just greed of business owners and the wealth of the world taking advantage of," and that's yes, and that is part of what happens as well. That's part of it, right? Because who pays attention to the rich but the rich? We're just happy to get some scraps, right?
Well, it's not about scraps. We just want opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It's the point where you just want opportunity, equal opportunity. We're not asking for any hands up. We're not asking for any
handout.
Not a handout. We're not asking for a leg up. We're not asking for with that. We're just asking for a level playing field and let us work from there. You know, the biases that exist are for real, man. Are for real.
I agree. We're gonna come back to some of your conversation. We're back with Dr. Nadia Guillaume Estriplet. And we're talking about the migrants that have been coming into the United States and the influx here in New York. One of the questions that we wanted to ask you before we were able to, can you hear us, Dr. Estriplet? Can you hear us? Is she muted?
No. Can you hear us?
Can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you. The screen is frozen.
Can you hear me?
You're broken up. Your screen is not in a good place.
Did you
Your
move?
internet is not in a good place.
I think you moved. Did you move from one side to the other? Okay, now you're back.
No, she's not back.
Oh.
Yeah. This is what
we can see. Okay, we see a delayed motion when you. Yes, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you when you wave your hand, but it's delayed. Go ahead and speak now. Let's see if you're okay.
Oh, okay, but
You're good now.
How is that? Can you hear me?
You're good now. You're good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. We're not hearing like the
Oh,
Chinese.
I'm looking at you guys on the screen, but I'm right here.
Yes. I'm saying we're not hearing you like the old Chinese movie where the lips are going and then after 5 minutes later you hear the words. That's not what's happening. All right. So one of the questions
Right.
one of the questions we wanted to ask you is tell us about some people who you have encountered while doing this migrant work.
Oh, I met some amazing television reporters, some that we know. I met some of the owners of the company that I work for. I even met some of their board members. We've had lunch together. There was one day, Mayor.
Mayor Adams.
I'm still freezing.
Yes,
Okay,
you freeze from time to time, but we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, there was one time the mayor came and I wasn't there, unfortunately. But that's basically some of the amazing people that I consider amazing that I met.
Now, in regards to the work that you do, young folks in entertainment, what does that look like?
With the Access Entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
that's my company. Okay, so At the Cross Entertainment, that was birthed back in 2003. I was and I couldn't understand where music going. Why is gospel music so boring and so depressing? Like everyone's going through something. Everyone needs a breakthrough. And I said, wait a second. Gospel music needs to be revamped. And the name At the Cross Entertainment came to me. And when it came to me, I said, okay, here's what I would like to see. And so what we do right now at the Cross Entertainment, we scout for raw talent. We are looking for women, young men, don't matter the age. We just basically scout and look for people who have raw talent and understand that your talent, your gift, your style, whatever it may be, is unto God. And we promote that to the best of our ability, and we help you get to where you need to be in music and in your talent and your giftings.
And
So, do you only provide access for people who are doing religious music, or you do secular music as well?
The board and we haven't decided that part because at the end of the day, the name of our company is At the Cross Entertainment. And At the Cross is where a lot happened. A lot took the cross. So I'm still kind of sort of on the fence with that. I am open to it, but it would have to be clean R&B, clean love songs, clean. It would have to be clean.
I
don't know about that, Doc.
Clean love songs.
I don't know. I'm inclined to say clean. What is clean? I don't know what's clean. I don't know what's clean. You know what? I'm old school. I don't know what's clean from what's not clean nowadays. Because sometimes my kids say I'm too square, not a circle. So I don't know. For them it's clean. My son who's in entertainment, he always look at me like like I said, I'm square. Like, Daddy, you don't understand. He's in entertainment. He's a rapper, a performer out there.
Really?
Yes.
Right.
He's up to 14. I think he just got started about I would say about a year and a half ago, about that. And he has about close to 15,000 followers right now.
He's frozen.
Oh, I was saying he has about 15,000 followers as we speak. He thinks I'm a square.
Wow.
He says
that's huge.
Yes. He says I'm a square. So I don't know.
You are.
Oh, I learned from you, John. You've been my friends. John and I have been friends for close to 20 years. So you figured that out. And he was he's one of my idols. So that tells you a lot.
I'm playing the violin right now.
Imaginary
tell us a little bit more about some of the things that the village is missing, because although you state that your husband is the go-getter,
you love going back to that,
right? You are a go-getter. You have done. Tell us. I want to know.
Wait,
this is not part of the interview question, so it's a question that I want to throw out there, and ask you this question: what makes you you? Why? Because you have so much to offer. Tell us some of the things more that we didn't ask. The migrant, the book, the
traveling,
studio, the youth pastor, the mother, the wife,
Haiti,
right? The Haitian, working with the Haitian. Tell us a little bit. What makes you tick? What makes you feel so inspired to do these things? Because there are a lot of people out there who want to do some of these things, right?
Jesus,
inspired to do it, but they're not willing
Jesus.
to do it.
That's what the inspiration is. Jesus.
I didn't ask you to answer, my mentor.
Well, the inspiration to do what
answer.
I do.
Don't give me the obvious answer with what John just said. That's the obvious answer. Right?
Can't do that. I can't. Yeah.
No. Wait. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't give us that as part of your answer, because it is part of your answer, right? Right.
I get it.
Right. Thank you.
I get it. The inspiration comes from being 6 years old and sleeping on the 3 train with my mother, carrying big black plastic bags through Manhattan because my mother was looking for shelters. The inspiration comes from being 11 years old and having to sleep on the floor while my father purposely opens a blanket and tells my mom and all of us to sleep on floor. The inspiration for what I do, why I went into the health field and then switched into social services, is because we were so poor. I remember when Kings County Hospital had the blue benches, and my mother would stand us outside in the cold, and she would give us a script. And the script is, my stomach hurts, I can't keep anything down, and I have a fever. Wow. And she knew this script would keep us in the hospital all night so we can have some place to sleep. The inspiration that I inspiration to become a pastor. Well, before I get to the pastor part, let me say this one. When I was working in the healthcare system, I wanted to become a nurse. I was in school, I did all my classes. In the line, I realized nursing is what I want to do. Because I did not like what I saw when a patient was being discharged. The aftercare plan was never properly in place. We had homeless people being discharged that would be discharged back into the streets after receiving IV or blood transfusion or having a toe amputated from gangrene. I would stand there and say to myself, do I really want to be a nurse? No, this is not it. Then I decided to go back to school. While in college, I noticed that college what I was studying was boring. And I said, you know what? I love church. I love the Bible. I like that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll make a career out of theology or religion, so to speak. Then the inspiration to become a pastor came about when a pastor said I cannot wear earrings, jewelry, or fake hair. I said, wait a second.
Conservative Christian.
I have to go. Yeah, and that's not me. I'm not the conservative. I am not. That is, when I say conservative, I do carry myself a certain way, and it's not on purpose. It's my character. However, when it comes to sitting in a congregation, no one has the right to tell anyone what they should wear or what they should look like. And I'll argue anyone with that.
So no,
topic.
so you can't. So we can't wear.
So,
we can't wear. Well, let me think of something. But
Yeah,
you know, Doc, I think
John thinks it's going to take a while for John to get over to think. So don't worry about it.
Well, Doc, you know, I just think of just the trauma that these kids and young adults that they carry with them throughout their lives, and that trauma has a direct impact upon them, and not only on them, but their decision making and their areas of discernment. So, you know, when you go ahead, Doc, I'm sorry.
Correct. And no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to piggyback off of what you were just saying. That trauma subconsciously will walk parallel in decision making, making decisions about relationship, education, money, lifestyle. That trauma becomes, because we're made up of what is it? Flesh, spirit, and body. That trauma becomes the fourth being in your body that helps the rest of these three help you make a decision.
Amen.
And that's when I said to myself, wait a second, I need to study religion. And it was studying religion that helped me understand spirituality. And when I understood spirituality, then I noticed, and I've started to recognize where I knew I belonged in social services, because I once upon a time was in domestic violence. I was being beat up by a man. I once upon a time thought I had a boyfriend. Instead, he was a pimp. Okay, so there were certain things about my life that literally inspired me to come and be a social service employee today. And every day when I go to work, I let them know I'm not here for the money. I don't even know when I get paid. It's my husband who has to remind me, today's your payday. I could care less. I could care less about the money.
Hey, Doc, let me hold something then, Doc. Let me hold something.
Yeah, I kind of agree with John with that. Let me hold something.
I don't lend, give. I give.
You say it again? Okay, right. So that's what we didn't say lend. We say
I don't
give.
lend and I don't borrow.
We're not asking you to do either of the two. We're asking you to give.
Give.
All right. So
and I only give as long as I get the tax exempt.
See, now you're giving us too many stipulations now, and none of those stipulations were there before, so I'm not sure.
Hey, Doc, Doc, I want to take this time to just thank you for what you do and the lives that you are not only impacting, but the lives you have changed and the hope that you have given to people. So you continue to do what you're doing, because I do reentry, especially young men coming home, and just giving them that assistance of providing them that guidance to help them get over all those hurdles that they face. So I want to thank you, and next time you get paid, just let us know.
Doc, I hate to agree with John a couple of instances. The last thing that John said, when you get paid, you don't have to your husband doesn't have to remind you. Just send a check directly to our account. We're good. good from there. But I want to say something. I don't often speak like this at this level.
You never do.
No, I mean serious, right? Everybody who knows me know that I'm a man of faith. I believe strongly in the work of God and what He has done for many reasons, none of which I'm going to discuss right now. I didn't know why I asked you that question, right? I didn't know. It wasn't part of our pre-interview. It wasn't part of the conversation. But I'm going to say that God led me to ask you that question because I think people out there need to understand that your circumstances don't make you, you make your circumstances. In other words, you make your life what it is that you want it to become. Obstacles come your way. It's tough things come your way, but you can choose to make it become you, because some people do that and blame it, while others say this is just an obstacle in my way, a rock, a stone that we have to move. I don't know why I asked you that question, like I said, and I didn't know any of these before I asked you. So I want everybody in the audience to know I had no idea. I just felt like it was a question I needed to ask. And so I want to thank you for sharing that. So people understand struggles. We all have them, but it's what you do to strive and become. Look, you're on the Village Radio Talk Show tonight. And so
it pushes you to purpose. To add on to what Roderick says, struggles, difficulties, and obstacles push you to your purpose.
Amen.
Amen to that. Right. So, and again, like John said, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. I just wanted to add one last thing. I like the word that you use, "whattered" me. Back in 2018, I lost everything. I lost my house, my car, finances, my husband, everything. Lost everything off of one little lie. And I ended up in the homeless shelter with my 2 kids. And I vowed to God, I said, Lord, you get me out of this shelter. I promise you, I will go back and take care of those that's in the shelter. And there you have it.
Amen. And
Amen, Doc. Thank you. Thank you
so
thank
much
you for being an inspiration for me tonight.
Yeah, I thank you so much. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I said I know God led you, but I wanted to hear your story. So and thank you for sharing that story and your willingness to share. So continue your work with the shelter, making sure those things happen for those migrants. They need it.
And how can they reach you? How can people reach you?
You can they can ask nadia.e@com.
Repeat that again.
And
yeah, wait. It's
Pastor
not
Nadia.
You're gonna have to write it in the chat. It's not Nadia.
Pastor Nadia E.
Or Dr. Nadia E.
Pastor Nadia E.
Pastor Nadia.e@gmail.com.
Okay, Pastor Nadia.e
at gmail.com.
You got it?
Yes. Yeah. Pastor Nadia.e@gmail.com. Look on the screen. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
All right. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you again for sharing your light.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
So, great story, John. I'm so glad I was able to pull that out of her, unknowingly.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know, because a lot of times people, you know how many times I tell young people that um, you know, your situations are your situations and nobody else's,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what you do around you makes a hell of a lot of difference. And Pastor Nadia definitely, Dr. Nadia definitely showed that.
Mm.
So going back to some of the things that we were talking about in the past on the show, I'm trying to check to make sure run a time check so that our we're over time.
Is up.
Is
Thank
that
you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. May
all right?
you enjoy this weekend. May you be safe. And
You know,
Roderick hit it.
all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us. If we didn't get to your comments, all of your comments, we're sorry. I see Lloyd, I see Boogie G, I see Gloria, I see David, and a few others. I'm going backwards. Anto Marine, all the birthday wishes, all of the, you know, on a sad note, I just want to, never mind, not going to finish on a sad note. I want to wish everybody, in case we're not on next week, I want to wish each and every one of you a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And please do enjoy it. Thank you for watching, sharing, viewing, participating in the Village Radio Talk Show right here on 92.1 FM, on Facebook at Roderick F. Daly, Dr. Joanne Bryant, John L. Sampson, Andre Doman, Sophia Willisey. Also, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Village Radio Talk Show and join me. Follow me on Instagram at Roderick_the Village. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great weekend. Looking forward to seeing you next week, and happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.